bringing 2 bags and $400. And I said, wow, I'm actually in Korea, and where do I go? I had to speak to the staff saying, like, can I work here? They said, what? So I don't think it's just about Korea. It's just wherever you go around the world, you can make the same thing absolutely happen, so as long as you don't give up. Hi, my name is Charles. I'm from Las Vegas, and I've been living in Korea for 13 years. Currently, I work as a creative officer at Gomi Corporation. Gomi Corporation is a solution corporation where 2019, we started as an e-commerce company, and then we expanded out with OTT, F&B, and PB business and payments. It just goes beyond what people can imagine, and what we want to do is give people the limitless satisfaction. So I'm very happy with where I am today. Oh, well, from birth. My mom is Korean, so having the interest in Korea wasn't too far away from me. However, when I was growing up in the States, I was watching my mom viewing a lot of Korean media, and I remember when we had to go to Koreatown in Las Vegas to rent out those illegal videos for us to watch it, and I just had to see. I remember one of the shows like 강호동의 천생연분. Before it was Mr. 유재석 and Mr. 강호동. They were in a show, and that kind of got me some interest in Korean media. Even growing up in Las Vegas, when I spoke Korean in front of Korean people, they would kind of look at me strange because I don't look Korean. But in front of some American folks out there, I don't look like their race either. So it was an interesting journey, but my friend, he told me Korea has changed quite a lot. And I said, really? He says, look at Daniel Henney and look at Dennis Oh and look at Kim Deanna. It was at that time. And he says, why don't you visit Korea? You'll see the difference. So I was just wondering quite a lot. And at that time, during my university time, economically, it wasn't too great. And we also had some family situations. So I took my bag and brought $400 and came to Korea all by myself. 13 years in Korea, it was a magical journey. I remember when I first came here, it's actually my 13th year, last week. And I remember coming to the Incheon airport, and then first thing that I told to the information desk was, where do I go? And she says, I don't know where you have to go. I said, okay, how do I get to Seoul? And from that point on, I remember bringing 2 bags and $400, and I'm at this 고속 bus terminal, and I said, wow, I'm actually in Korea, and where do I go? So with that flip phone Motorola, I called my dad. I said, hey dad, where do I go? He says, where are you? I said, I'm in Korea. He says, never asked you to come here, and do you have any plans? I said, no, I just came. So I remember going to my dad's office, and I had to speak to the staff saying, like, can I work here? They said, what? So I remember staying in that office and living in that office for 8 months. I was sleeping at night in the office in the couch. And at nighttime, they turn off the heater. So I had to wear hoodie on top of hoodie on top of hoodie. This may sound kind of sad to some people, but believe me this, many foreigners who come to Korea, they face this. And eating ramen noodles for 8 months, it may be surprising for certain people, but not to some other people who actually come to Korea. So I actually acknowledge them and encourage them to move forward, because there are certain things that I actually believe in what Ray Kroc said, the founder of McDonald's. He says, consistency and determination is omnipotent to success. So I actually do believe in that, just never giving up and just moving forward. So after doing so, I had to look for a job. I remember literally going down to subways and asking people, hey, do you want to learn English? And they said, what? And I was like, if it's not, next one, hey, do you want to learn English? And out of all my luck, somebody actually wanted to learn English. And I remember that lady, she says, hey, why don't you teach my daughter, who happens to be 10 years older than you, but if you can actually teach her, I'll pay you this much. And I said, all right. And back then, there was no law and regulation about this. And now there's so many laws and regulations about how you have to teach English. So I guess I was really lucky back in the time. And moving on, I remember saving up little tiny money. And I had to live in 옥탑방. There was no bathroom. There was no 샤워실. There's nothing. It was just concrete wall. You can smell those concrete walls. And I said, wow, this is where I have to start. Okay, let's do this. I needed to just create more network by knowing more people. And I had to use my talent. And my talent was bilingual, Korean and English. And I actually studied graphic design. So I knew how to do Adobe programs. So I said, why can't I use all of this and then make something out of it? So I started going out more and more and more, and started meeting models and entertainers and some celebrities from overseas. And they were asking, hey, so you want to hang out? So we started sharing contact. And then later in point, I was introduced to this gentleman who happens to be a very well-known restaurant franchise in Korea. It starts with S. I can't say the name, but it starts with S. And that gentleman actually said, what do you want to do, Charles? And I said, I want to open up a model agency, international model agency. So I had to make a deck, and I presented, and then he invested a certain amount of money. So I had to start my own business. And it was international model agency management. And I wanted to create in a way that could differentiate than the others. And by doing so, I was a go-getter and just keep going at it and at it. But my partner, he cheated with me, and he took some money and used it somewhere else. So I had a lot of debt. So when that point came in, I said, oh boy, where does this go from now? And there was one point I remember wanted to just drop down everything and just run away. And I said, where do I run away to? It's like, is there any place for me to go? I was doubting myself. But instead, I decided, you know what, maybe I should start from 실무자. Maybe I should do that again, 실무자, starting from the bottom. So after that, I was hired at this company, fashion company. And it was pretty well known in Korea. And this gentleman who hired me happened to actually know me from a couple of the parties that we had before. So going into that journey of whole 13 years, a lot of emotions were mixed up. I remember crying, I remember laughing, I remember being cheated, I remember being loved. I remember people having jealousy towards me. I remember people asking me to give them advice. So I don't think it's just about Korea. It's just wherever you go around the world, you can make the same thing absolutely happen, so as long as you don't give up. I'm living happy. It's like what you see from Instagram and what you see in reality is different. And on my Instagram, it may look somewhat, but in reality, I remain humble. I live in a small house, just to let you know. I live in a small house. I live by myself. I live in a small place. I live by myself. I still have things that I need to take care of. So even though I'm very happy with what I have now, it's always what I've ever wanted. So I'm very thankful. No, this is sincere. This is no filter. And the more you will get to know me, I'm very direct, and that got me into a lot of troubles before. However, I'm speaking English, so I'll be very, very direct right here. I'm not rich, but I'm not poor. I'm not wealthy, but at the same time, I'm not under poverty either. And I have actually prayed about this many, many times before. The reason why I want to be blessed with finance is to help those who are in need. And do I want anything back in return? Absolutely not. So my will to grow in this society as a businessman is to somehow make this world a better place for all of us. And that's my real intention. You know, this is not a very difficult topic at all, because I've seen a lot of YouTube channels, people are saying good things about Korea. But the question here is basically in Korea. So number one thing that I could say about pros, the positivity of living in Korea, I would say, first of all, insurance. If you're working in a corporate, it's really good. And transportation is also very, very good. Cons. This is a very sensitive topic. Snitches. if something happens, they like talk. Yeah. That's just what I experienced, especially in Korea. And I think it's funny. I really think it's funny. It's like, I see them loving each other, but then they snitch at each other. And I thought that was like, wow, it's like a comedy show. So I say, why can't everybody just love each other? You know, love and truth is the righteous path that I choose. And I think, I mean, it's just everywhere. I can't say it's only in Korea. And I said this 4 times, so please put that on. So the advice for me to give to foreigners who wish to find a job in Korea, first, if you did not finish university, then you need to have this spectacular talent, and you need to be a go-getter, and you need to speak Korean. That's almost a must. People do believe in Korean dreams, and K-culture is just rapidly expanding all over the world, and which is amazing marketing. But coming into Korea, you need to really realize that you have to have a solid plan before even stepping a foot here. Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a plan. 13 years of coming here, I was 14. I was bringing 2 luggages and $400. You have to eat ramen for 8 months and sleep in the couch after hoodie after hoodie. You don't want to do that. So I tell you, have a set plan. Have a concrete set plan and make sure that you look up everything and create that job interview. Go to LinkedIn and just search for many different jobs. And there's a website, People and Job. People and Job, they usually hire, it's not that they usually hire, it's mostly foreign corporates, foreign companies. So you might want to look into that. And then LinkedIn, when you go into LinkedIn, you can also find many companies that are hiring foreigners who doesn't even have to speak Korean. So before coming to Korea, just set a plan.
Thank you for your interview.
Thank you. Thank you.